The strange part wasn't that the neighbor returned the dog. It was that he said the dog's name before anyone had spoken it. A man named Daniel had recently moved back into his childhood home with his fiancée. The house sat at the very end of a quiet street, half surrounded by overgrown trees and long stretches of empty land. It wasn't unusual to go days without seeing another person outside. About 2 months after they moved in, their golden retriever, Milo, slipped out one night when the back door didn't latch properly. They didn't realize he was gone until the next morning. By then, there was no sign of him anywhere in the yard or the woods behind the house. They searched for hours, called his name, drove slowly through the surrounding roads. No collar jingling, no barking, nothing. They hadn't posted online yet. They hadn't knocked on any doors. It hadn't even been 12 hours. That afternoon, around 3, someone knocked on the front door. Daniel opened it to find the new neighbor from 3 houses down. He was holding Milo's leash casually in one hand. The dog stood beside him, calm, tail wagging like nothing had happened. "Found him wandering near the trees," the neighbor said with a small smile. "He's a friendly one. Milo, right?" Daniel froze for a second. He didn't remember ever introducing the dog. The neighbor had only moved in a week ago, and they'd barely spoken beyond a quick wave across the street. Daniel thanked him anyway, took the leash, and brushed it off as coincidence. Maybe he'd overheard them calling the dog before. Maybe Milo's name was on a tag he'd forgotten about. Except, there was no tag. They'd taken it off the week before to replace the collar. That night, Daniel mentioned it to his fiancée. She swore she had never told the neighbor the dog's name either. The conversation left both of them uneasy, but not enough to confront him. It felt awkward to question someone who had just returned their missing pet. Over the next few weeks, small things started bothering Daniel. The neighbor always seemed to know when they were home. He'd wave from his driveway just as Daniel pulled in, even when Daniel came back at unusual hours. Once, he casually asked if Milo still slept at the foot of the bed, something Daniel had never told anyone outside the house. One evening, Daniel finally asked how he'd recognized the dog so quickly that first day. The neighbor paused for a moment before answering. "Oh, I used to live in that house years ago," he said, "back when it belonged to my parents. We had a dog just like him. Same name, actually." He laughed softly, but Daniel didn't. Later that night, Daniel checked the attic crawl space above the hallway. It was supposed to be sealed, something his father had mentioned years ago. The panel was slightly ajar. Inside, there was a thin blanket, a few empty food wrappers, and an old rusted key that matched the original locks of the house. Police later concluded the neighbor had been secretly entering through that crawl space for weeks, watching the house he once grew up in, learning their routines, waiting for a moment to make contact. The dog hadn't been lost at all. He had simply gone to greet someone he already knew.